Matt Leinart, Fox Big Noon kickoff analyst, former USC quarterback. Official height and weight, Matt.
Official height and weight for me, Dan?
Yeah?
I'm about 6'4 3/4, about 216.
Wasn't there a time when quarterbacks could be too tall? Like if you were 6'6",
yeah,
didn't it? Like we kind of looked at you. Was it Brock Osweiler? Like there were guys.
Well, Brock Osweiler was like 6'8". I think that was a little too tall. I mean, when I was playing, the tallest there were a bunch of kind of us big old statue guys, right? Like me, Carson, Brady, Peyton. I can't believe I'm putting myself in the same sentence, but as far as far as height, we were all literally the same height. You know, Ben Roethlisberger was the biggest one, Dan. I think when we played, he was like 6'6.5", 260, but built different. But yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like it's a different type of body now. So.
When did you realize that these quarterbacks were better than you? That you come from USC, you win a Heisman, then you get to the NFL, and that's when, things change as far as being a starter or being a backup, holding on a roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's nowhere. I would say this, like, you could, when you were in college as a quarterback, when I was looking at a defense, you could always pick on players, right? You could always, there was a weak link. There was a couple guys here and there that probably were draft picks or good NFL players. I think as a quarterback position, so it was, you could obviously have some success. Then when you get to the NFL, there really are no weak links. There's guys that are better than others, but that's when it becomes your skill set. That's when it becomes how much mentally you're ahead of the game. Can you read a defense? The anticipation, the accuracy. Accuracy is always a big one for me in the NFL. To answer that question, I think my rookie year, I thought I was fine. I played well. I really believed. And then probably year 2 and year 3, when we had a different system, I lost a little bit of confidence. That's when I kind of felt like, okay, my skill set, like I don't have the strongest arm. I'm not going to run as much. Where can I have the advantage? And for me, it was always mental. I always felt like I was naturally just very smart and I could read a defense and pick up things very quickly. I would just say the biggest thing is confidence. When you lose your confidence as a quarterback, kind of all hell breaks loose. And at least it did for me. So I think kind of a couple years in, but it's funny. I was actually just talking to Arian Foster yesterday, my old teammate in Houston. And we were kind of talking about, that was my 6th year in the league, kind of washed the second through 5. People kind of forgot where I was. Kubiak signs me. And I tell the story all the time. It was the best I'd ever felt as a quarterback ever. Like USC, I felt great, but ever. I was like, holy crap, like I can play this position at a high level. Like this was the Shanahan system and all those things. And I got my confidence back. And Aaron and I were just talking about, Aaron was like, dude, I feel like if you would have stayed healthy, because I broke my collarbone the first start back, we would have made a deep run in the playoff. Like we lost to Baltimore, but it was the best I felt, Dan. So, look, at the end of the day, I think, we're seeing a resurgence of all these players, which is really cool. And the fit is just so important, obviously.
What advice would you give a rookie quarterback?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. It's so different now because a lot of these guys are just thrust in right away and just like, go play. I do think in a lot of ways, I'll get to that answer in a second. I do think in a lot of ways, a lot of these offenses now are geared toward these players coming in college at the high school level. I see all of it. It's wide open. It's RPO is now in the college. So a lot of these young players, I think, are way more prepared than a guy like me, or at least in that era where a lot of us would sit, we'd back up, you kind of wait your time. I still think being a sponge is the biggest thing, and asking questions, and don't think you know everything. A lot of these kids come in and they are advanced and they think they kind of know everything. And they just don't. And game reps and experience is a way to get better. So the advice is to go in and be a sponge with the locker room, ask questions, soak up everything, get with your coaches as much as possible. The most I ever met with my coaches was in Houston with Coach Knapp, rest in peace, who passed away. He was phenomenal, and he taught me that position like I'd never been taught before. So those are things you gotta, it's not necessarily in first, out late. It's just go in there and soak up all the information, ask questions, retain it, and go out and execute it.
We're going to South Bend. We're going to be there Thursday and Friday.
Oh, yeah. It's a doozy, buddy.
How do they treat you when you go to South Bend?
South Bend's, they're not mean. I mean, gosh, when I was in Illinois a couple weeks ago, honestly, I thought I needed security, dude. I
Why?
thought I needed. Well, I was also hyping up the crowd a little bit. I was, telling them obviously we're gonna kick their ass and all this stuff, and we did not win that game. No, South Bend is fine. I don't think they're if I was at that game a couple of years ago in South Bend, and a couple boos. I wouldn't expect anything less from those guys though.
Nobody tried to push you and say, "Oh, here's a Bush push for you."
I mean, I get that all the time. Oh, you cheated, you Bush. I'm like, guys, this happened. I think this is a 20-year anniversary. I think that's the 20-year anniversary. I'm like, guys, come on. Can we get it? Can we? I mean, Brady Quinn. I know he's a frequent on the show. Brady Quinn. It's like, come on, guys. Can we move past this? But again, that's this week. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Big Noon this weekend. But you're going to be there. I mean, that's a big one. I mean, playoff elimination game for Notre Dame with already 2 losses. USC can lose this and obviously still win out and make a playoff. I would imagine a 10-2 USC team is in, but they still have Oregon on the road. They have a much more difficult path and schedule than Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins this, I think they're coasting to a 10-2 playoff spot. I really do.
I go back to that play with the Reggie Bush play. Didn't you have the 4th down completion to Dwayne Jarrett?
Yeah, that was 4th and 9.
And people don't focus. I think the Bush push overshadows that 4th down play, that conversion.
Well, there's a couple plays. The 4th down for sure. The 4th and 9. Well, it's 3rd and 20, and I remember, and there's a great clip. It's me and Sark and Pete on the sideline, and the whole thing was right. Just get half back. If it's not there, check down to Reggie. Let him go get some yards, and at least 4th and 9 is manageable, with our guys. And anyway, and I've told the story, but it was 1-on-1 and throw it up to Dwayne, and again, that ball an inch either way, it's an incomplete, and we lose the game. It was just one of those plays. Right? We executed at a high level. I say this all the time. Dwayne was not fast. Thank God he got hawked at like the 20-yard line, because if we score right there, there's still a minute left. Brady going to lead them down, and they're going to win the game. So he gets hawked at the 20. The one hidden play in that, Dan, that I always say, there was a 3rd down and 4 or 5 down there. Reggie picked up the first down with a run. We barely got a yard. If we don't get that, it's 4th down and 1 from like the 7-yard. It's just a much different thing. So that's the other play that I think a lot of people forget about, is Reggie converted a first down that stopped the clock, moved the chains. We can huddle up and execute another play.
Well, you had the fumble at that, if it stays in bounds,
we lose.
Then you lose.
Yeah, Dan, there's a lot. There's a lot of ifs in that game, but we ended up winning, so it's all that matters.
Do you hold that over Brady Quinn's head?
Oh yeah. Well, listen, Brady. I love Brady's he's like a brother. We love each other. He's a great dude. But he is a Notre Dame through and through guy. We all know that. I think he cares a lot more about this than I do. But sometimes you just gotta keep him in check a little bit. I always say, like, hey buddy, 3-0 gets you. But listen, they've beaten us they've owned us pretty much the last decade. So there hasn't been a lot for me to say to him. And again, I think this weekend is this is just a really tough game for us to go on the road and beat a team like that, who I think is one of the hottest teams in the country. So we'll see.
Talking about Leinart, the Fox Big Noon kickoff crew in Ann Arbor. It's Washington and Michigan coming up this Saturday. You're also working with Abbott again. This is second season that you've worked with We Give Blood Drive. Tell the audience more about that.
Yeah, this is awesome. We talked last year about this as well. Thanks for having me on to promote this a little bit. Yeah, Abbott's teamed up with the Big Ten again, and really just last year, this campaign and this blood drive saved about 60,000 lives. There's already been over 110,000 lives saved with blood donations, and we're only halfway through the season. So we've already almost doubled that, which is amazing. So basically what it is the school in the Big Ten, all 18 schools, whatever school donates the most blood, wins $1 million to advance, student and community health for their school. So there's a big incentive. There's also prizes in between and all those things. But there's a massive blood shortage in this country. Someone needs blood every 2 seconds. One blood donation can save up to 3 lives. So Abbott has done an incredible job. It's been awesome to partner with them, Dan. Last year was a success. This year's even better, and we're only halfway through. So, and it's a fun way to sort of compete with other schools. And I'm wearing the USC polo today because our team, I believe USC finished last in this last year. So encouraging everybody, but especially Trojan fans to get out there and donate. It's for a great cause and can go a long way, obviously. So
what's the best thing in your office, aside from the Heisman Trophy?
Oh, you can tell I'm a Kobe fan. So that's my mom and mentality. And this is a signed jersey by Kobe saying to Matt, I don't know what that says. I can't read it, but from Kobe. Kobe's my favorite player of all time. You know, I gotta do the Heisman. I gotta do the little bit of a Heisman flex, but I got the Kobe jersey, Dan. My favorite player. Had a chance to get to know him, you know, just outside of sports. He's Orange County, he was Newport Beach, and we had a lot of mutual friends, and I hung out with him a couple times, barbecues and all that. And obviously, I think, you know, like everybody, affected us when he passed. But he's my GOAT, man. So any Kobe memorabilia I got, that's probably the best thing. So
okay, if you have to get out of the house and you can grab either the Heisman or the Kobe jersey.
Well, I got 2 hands, Dan. So I'm taking one of each.
The Heisman can be replaced.
I don't think it can. That's actually a good question. I don't think I can replace my Heisman Trophy. I mean, I could get like a fake replica. But if I lose that baby, I'm done. It's over. I'm taking that.
Paulie, can you check on that if something happens to the Heisman?
Dan, let me tell you something about my office right now. Okay, I'm in the garage. Okay, so my wife took our office in the house. I'm in the corner of my garage in this little space, and I'm looking out here. I got crap everywhere, Dan. So that's how I'm living. But I got a nice little. I don't have the setup that you have. You know, you got your great stuff up there, but. Yeah. I'm working with what I got over here, man.
Did Penn State have any other option than to fire James Franklin?
It's a great question. I love James. Know him personally. I think he's fantastic. It's one of those things where I just feel like there was starting to be a little bit of this panic, kind of losing the fan base for the first time, I think, this year, especially when you see a guy like Kurt Signetti, who I know is a name that's being thrown in there, but you see a team like Indiana winning, right? These types of games, something that James just hasn't been able to do in his tenure. Now he wins 10 games every year. He's a fantastic coach. I think there's 4 or 5 coaches in the country that have consistently done that, whether they've won a title or not. And that's James. Like, so he's been fantastic, but I just feel like Penn State's looking at the landscape and saying, gosh, if Indiana can do this, if Lanning can build this Oregon team out there, because Penn State's got unlimited resources too. They really do. I mean, they have everything. Then why haven't we been able to do that? So, and I think there just finally was a little bit of this disconnect with the fan base for the first time, and the brass. So look, this is kind of the nature of the beast. It's crazy. If you think about this, they're one play away from beating Oregon a couple of weeks ago and maybe being the number 1 team in the country right now. And again, that win might, give them momentum, but you lose to UCLA and then you lose at home again to 2 of, statistically right now, 2 of the worst teams in the Big Ten. I think that's what they thought had to be done. James will bounce back on his feet. I think the interesting thing is just who's going to get that job. Obviously, you see the names that are up for it, but it's a fantastic job. I mean, they've won, 10 games every year. You can win a national championship there. You have resources. You have a great administration. You got great fans. They have a huge renovation for the stadium. So everything is aligned up there for them to win a championship. And I think that's the reason why this happened, is just because they haven't been able to do that.
Good to talk to you again. Safe travels there to Ann Arbor, and good luck with it's big10.org/Abbott for more information on donating blood. Thank you, Matt.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Good to see you, buddy.
We were talking about this yesterday. How do you feel if you're Northwestern, that all of a sudden that was the tipping point? Like, okay, you lost on the road to UCLA. Oh, you lost to Northwestern. Now we're going to fire you. And it's like, I guess is that a backhanded compliment there?
They take down coaches?
Yes. No, Northwestern, we take down coaches.